Thank you all for coming today. My name is Carrie Rossman. I'm with the Better Business Bureau, a nonprofit that serves businesses in the area. And we're all about promoting ethics, and we certainly believe that being green or going green is a component of ethics, and we've started to do that in our own operation. Last year, shortly after the Green Summit, we had developed a green team within our office. With staff initiated, but we did get the support of the leadership of our organization, which we felt was really vital to get further support from staff and to get buy-in to actually make some green changes and implement some green things into our business. So some of the stuff I'm going to touch on today is very Green 101 because we've only been at it for a year, but we're excited about the opportunities for growth in the green things that we can do, as well as the opportunity that we have to share with our BBB accredited businesses that haven't yet taken these steps, the small steps they can take to become green. Last year, after we created our green team and went through with our staff some of the ideas that the green team wanted to implement, this list is what we were able to accomplish. We started out by really focusing on how much we were printing. We were able to take a 300 plus page monthly task and move it to an Excel list and eliminate printing 300 pages of paper. We also did double-sided and grayscale printing, so everyone's computer got set to that. And then we had the staff put the note about considering the environment in their email signature before printing. That not only is a good internal reminder just to get us all to think, do I really need to print this or can I use it in another way? But it also helps us when we're talking externally to remind others. We looked at our thermostat settings to make sure that they were ideal for cost energy savings. So when we're not there on the nights or the weekends, there are savings implemented there. We had previously done recycling, but we weren't consistent about it. So we got more bins and we educated the staff on how they could recycle what they were supposed to recycle. And now that is a consistent and daily thing that we do in our operation. We had one of our accredited businesses come out and look at our lighting to make sure we were using energy efficient lighting. And we had just remodeled, so in fact we were using energy efficient lighting, so that was a good thing. And then shredding is big for the Better Business Bureau. On a daily basis, we encourage businesses and consumers to shred their information so that they can protect their identity, but the other component of that is it's good for the environment. So we're doing that on a continual basis as well. As we look forward to this year, we just found out this morning we are approved to become a ClimateWise member. We're also implementing EFACs, reusable water bottles for staff, and then pitchers and glasses for meetings when we have guests into our office, getting rid of plastic water bottles altogether. We recently purchased energy efficient computers. We have paperless meetings, and we're looking forward to a whole lot more. So to sum up, what I really want to get the point across that we are new to our green initiatives, and it is Green 101, but we really look forward to the future opportunities for us internally and the opportunities for us to educate businesses on how they can take these small steps and implement them in their own business. So that's it. I'm happy to answer any questions, though Dee did suggest probably waiting until the end if we want to hold questions and turn it over to the next speaker.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Angie Penland, and I'm from First National Bank. And I'm going to talk a little bit about green banking today. As an industry in banking, we use a lot of paper because everybody writes checks. We send tons of mail to our customers. So as an industry, we really have not been very green. So in 2009, First National Bank began an official green campaign to roll out initiatives within our offices for our employees and our customers to become more green. So we started by asking ourselves the question, why should we do this? Why should we be more sustainable? And I think there's a couple of reasons. First, it's obviously the socially conscious thing to do. Reducing our carbon footprint is all of our responsibility. But particularly in banking, we had a pretty big chunk of that. So for example, just at First National Bank in Colorado, we determined that if our customers opted for electronic statements and electronic banking using their debit card as opposed to writing checks, we would reduce paper usage by 120,000 pieces per month or 1.44 million pieces per year. And that's just First National Bank in Colorado. So obviously that's huge. The second reason why we undertook a green campaign is actually because it saves the company money. So not only is it a good thing to do from a social perspective, but it can also reduce costs for the business. And we found that pretty quickly with investing in electronic storage, not buying as much paper, not spending so much on postage. All those kind of things saved us money. So that was another great reason to proceed. While it's been relatively easy to implement green initiatives within the company, like some of the things the previous speaker spoke about with recycling and reducing paper usage, we have found it has actually been quite challenging to implement it with customers because consumers don't necessarily want to change their behavior. So that can be a big challenge for business owners, and that's kind of where we focused. There's, worldwide banking has gotten more and more electronic, but for some reason in the US, we've been pretty slow to accept that, and 50% of people still pretty much write checks. So we have to figure out a way to change people's behavior. So how do we motivate customers to do that? First, you can have negative consequences for the status quo. So, for example, on some of our accounts, we started to charge for receiving a paper statement, for ordering paper checks, and we gave other environmentally friendly options for free, like debit cards and electronic statements. But that's not the best option because that can tend to alienate your customers a little bit. So the second, and I think the more effective option, is educating the consumer on the benefits of changing and providing them a reason and a motivation to change. So a couple of things we used in that vein are demonstrated in when we rolled out our green checking account. This account is a totally paperless account. And we promoted it in a variety of ways. First, we looked at our marketing materials and we focused on the benefits. And if anyone would like to see them or get ideas for their own business, I have copies of those for you. But basically, it just talks about being green, why it's important, and what are all the benefits you get from that as a customer. So some of those might include that it's free, that it's more convenient, and that it's flexible. In addition, we focused on fraud prevention. Which is a great piece of green banking. Many of our customers weren't aware that fraud and identity theft are actually more common by paper mail. The vast majority of fraud, it happens because mail or a checkbook was stolen. And in fact, it does not happen by logging onto the internet or being on your online banking or any other electronic site. So we try to educate our customers about that. And we also provide a fraud and identity theft guarantee with our green checking account. So if you should be a victim of fraud, we have a backup plan to give you a little bit of an insurance policy to help you manage that process and recoup any funds that you've lost. So that's an additional motivator related to the green checking. We also switched all employee accounts to green checking so that as a company, we set an example what we're willing to do and what our employees are willing to do. And we can also better explain the benefits to the customer because we use it. In addition, we made the product fun. We gave away little green shopping bags, which are all the rage, and little seed cards that promoted the green checking that you could actually take the little card, which had the benefits on it, and plant it in your garden and it would grow wildflowers. So that was a really fun way to kick it off, and we gave that to all of our customers and all of our employees. So as you can see, taking an approach of education and marketing, the benefits of to motivate customers can change their behavior. And I think it's a good strategy to take, and it's one that has really worked for us. If you think about the fact that First National, we send out over 100,000 mailings per month, and each one costs about $1. So if you could get rid of all those mailings, that's a huge cost savings. And I think one where the concepts can apply to other companies as well. Thank you.
My name is Beth Schneider, and I'm one of the owners of Diesel Services of Northern Colorado, a truck repair shop. You're probably wondering why a truck repair shop owner would be invited to a green summit when there really is nothing green about a truck shop. Well, that's what I thought. But back in 1998, when we started that business, we kind of stopped and we looked and we asked ourselves, what is an eco-friendly business? We defined that for ourselves. And we came up with the idea that it was a commitment towards conserving energy and keeping air, land, and water clean. So with that as a basis, we moved on and we decided, so what can we do to make a truck shop sort of green? Well, back in 1999, we had an opportunity to participate in the wind power program with public service, and we went with that 100%, and we have been doing that ever since. So that was a good place to start. That made us a little greener. And then we decided we would try and use biodegradable cleaners, because we use a lot of cleaners in that industry. And over the years, we found some that actually work. They're getting better as time goes on. And then we thought, why don't we install insulated garage doors? So we replaced 10, 14-foot garage doors with insulated doors, and they're all sealed up, and we maintain those really well, and that keeps the heat in. So there was another little step. Then we looked at all these big truck parts going out the door. Well, why don't we try recycling those? So at this point in time, we're recycling 24,000 pounds of steel per year, and that doesn't count the aluminum and the copper. We recycle about 5,000 gallons of engine oil per year. We recycle contaminated fuel. We purchase recycled coolant. We recycle our coolant. We recycle batteries. We recycle radiators. We recycle cardboard and pop cans and bottles and glass. We designed and fabricated these really great drip pans that fit underneath the truck so that pretty much any mess that happens will end up in a pan and not all over the floor, and then it's in the water, and then it's here and there. So we were getting more organized as time went on. And then we replaced all of our lighting in the ceiling with high output, high bay lights that save us 38% on our kilowatt hours. So that was good. And then you might wonder, where did we get the money to do all that? Well, we advertised with the Northern Colorado Business Report, and that helped a lot. So then we thought, how could we help our customers be more green? Well, then we decided that we could teach and educate our customers, and that way we could help them make good choices with their trucks. We do good maintenance for them. When a truck is running well, its emissions are lower and its fuel economy is better, so maintenance is key in that. We help them choose the appropriate vehicle for the purpose that they have, so they're not driving around in a bigger truck than what they really need. We check their tire pressures and make sure those are fine. We check their air filters and their filter minders and make sure they're working. We've converted their lighting from regular old lights that go in the trash all the time to the LED lights that last a lot longer. And we replace no parts unless their life is really over. And then we thought, wow, we could do some green truck driver training. We could save a little fuel that way. We regularly do training sessions at our customer place of business to reduce poor driving habits that waste fuel and increase emissions and reduce the lifespan of a vehicle. We encourage them to decrease their idle time. You know, you hear diesel trucks out there just running and running. You know, it's not necessary. We teach throttle management and hill climbing techniques. We teach proper shifting. So we kind of are helping our customers be green as well. So a truck shop can be a little bit green, and we figure if we can do it, then most any business can, because there's not too many quite as black as a truck shop. And the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to learn to use PowerPoint and quit wasting index cards. Thank you for listening.
So my name is Rosemary Russo. I work for the City of Fort Collins, and I just want to talk about some of the programs that you might not be familiar with that the city does, and then some of our successes this year. So, you know, one of the reasons the city is interested in sustainability is we want to be a leader, we want to use your tax dollars wisely, and we are really conscientious about trying to be a little better than the community at large to show our leadership. So basically, the City of Fort Collins, in the past 6 years since we've been tracking greenhouse gases, the community itself has lowered our emissions by 3%, which if you don't follow greenhouse gases doesn't seem like a lot, but probably 70% of the communities in the nation are going straight up. Some are flatline, and there's very, very few cities and communities that are on a downward spiral. So being on a downward spiral is really good. So greenhouse gases, if you're not familiar with the science, greenhouse gases is really the umbrella to say what's your energy use, your transportation, your electrical use, your natural gas. So greenhouse gases is really the best indicator to say whether you're a green city or not, or a green business or not. So the community itself has gone down 3%, and city operations has gone down 4%. So we are walking the talk. So one of the ways we do that is educating our employees and then trying to educate the community members. So if you haven't been to any of the residential series, we have free residential series all through the spring, and then we have free business series in the fall. And if you can't get to them, if your schedule is so tight that you can't make it on a Wednesday night or a Wednesday morning, they're all streamed on the website. So the city launched an external website this year. It's called fcgov.com/green. And on that, it has a calendar of all the sustainable events in the city. And then the city itself is also launching, we have mindful movies and more, and those are just different environmental movies about recycling, about, ocean acidification, carbonation. It's a really positive environmental movie with, solutions. You don't walk away feeling doom and gloom. And then we also put out a lot of reports. So if you're interested in and you're just starting, go on the website and it'll give you a great idea of how to start your program. My favorite project that the city has done is our toilet project, our asphalt concrete porcelain project. So out at Hoffman Mill Road, that's our street department. Our street department has started to recycle all the asphalt and concrete. And so basically if, your water main breaks, what we had was a lot of pipes and a lot of concrete, and that was all going to the landfill. So now out at Hoffman Mill, we take all that debris and we grind it up and we recycle it. And concrete is one of the most harmful in terms of greenhouse gas emissions. So whenever you can recycle concrete, that is a great thing. And if you guys are in the construction industry and you have concrete, or you're redoing your driveway and there's asphalt, please bring it out there, and then we recycle it and we use it as street base. The other part of that is when we started to give out these toilet rebates. If you don't know about it, basically you get $35 if you recycle your toilet, $35 if you buy a new toilet, $15 if you recycle it up at Resources. So the whole idea of the Hoffman Mill project is we use that as street base. So Darren doesn't like me to say this, but our streets are paved with toilets, not gold here in Fort Collins. But it is a great program. We make about $500,000 on that project because we sell the fill too. The other great projects that or programs that are available is the WIN program, and there's some applications in the back. Basically, a resident in Fort Collins can spend $10 above their regular bill, and 90% of your energy can be coming from wind. And there's also a program for businesses. So if you aren't buying wind, it's a really inexpensive way. Or it could be a gift. So I really try to encourage people, if you're giving your employees like the best gift, the best employee of the month, rather than give them something they already have, buy them a block of wind. The other ones, if you don't know about the rebates, so the city has tons of lighting rebates. They have the toilets. They have lawnmowers right now. So we're pushing people to get electric lawnmowers rather than gasoline, which emits VOCs. And then Recharge Colorado's all the state rebates. The city also has these great subsidized audits right now for your home. So they'll come out and they'll spend about 2 hours in your house and they'll give you a long list of no cost to high cost. Tree recycling. So our streets departments grind up all the trees when we do maintenance, and all that mulch is available for free at Garden on Spring Creek or Rivendell.
Okay, so my name is April Wackerman. I'm with the Institute for the Built Environment, and I'm going to highlight a really cool project that we worked on up in Cheyenne at the Cheyenne Botanic Gardens. The Institute for the Built Environment, we're an enterprise entity at Colorado State University, which means that we're completely self-funded by the Service for Fee project work work that we do. And so some of the service that we provide is green building consultation, research, education, and which is what we did for the Cheyenne Botanic Gardens. The way that we're able to be within the university is we hire graduate students, and it provides a professional development opportunity for them as they're pursuing their graduate degree. So this is the project, and the Cheyenne Botanic Gardens had really high goals and visions for this project. They wanted to develop a children's village that's centered around sustainability, and so it's to provide an opportunity for children to learn of sustainability. And this was the existing site and its condition, and so you can see that it's an existing building that was built in the 1920s, and this is what it is today. And so they completely revitalized the site. They completely regenerated the place so that it's a place for both children and adults, and wildlife alike. So these are just some example photos of the site as it is today. There's a lot of opportunity for learning about sustainability up there, and it's specifically for children. So everything's scaled for smaller people. It achieved LEED Platinum certification. So we were on this project as the lead administrator, which meant that we facilitated the LEED certification process. And it was a really strong commitment from the team in order to achieve LEED Platinum. The advantage of LEED certification is that it provides a look into what's in that building that made it green. And so you can see here, for example, this building achieved 10 out of the 14 points available in order to achieve Platinum, and it achieved 5 out of 5, for example. And so this was a really strong rating for any building, I would say. It's similar to a nutrition label, so that you can see what's in your food. It's similar to see what's in the building. These are some examples of how they achieved this and how we achieved, as the team achieved this certification. So 77% of the construction waste was diverted from the landfill. A really great example, this is the concrete that was from the existing building. They chopped it up and made it into a retaining wall here. And then another example is, this was a mistake. They accidentally poured these pylons and it was the wrong spec. So instead of creating waste, they created art. And so here we installed them as similar to Stonehenge. And these pylons were supposed to be the structural foundation for this windmill here. Some other examples, 100% of the paint, sealants, all the materials and products are healthy. It's really important, obviously, for kids and adults, but especially young developing bodies. As you can see, there's 100% of natural light provided. And you can see outside, and they just did a really amazing job. The design team did an amazing job to provide this opportunity for children. Another example is they have 3 renewable energy, on-site renewable energy systems. So they had a solar thermal system, photovoltaic system, and a vertical axis wind turbine. And that contributed to reducing their energy cost by 78%. In addition, they restored the site so that it was majority was native habitat, and all of the irrigation is using non-potable water that is actually conveyed from the city of Cheyenne. And finally, here they used 20% of the materials used on this site all came from within 500 miles of this site. So you can see there's just a lot of ways that they implemented sustainable strategies in this building. So as my initial slide showed, that this is really meant to inspire creativity and wonder, both for children and students. And so there's just amazing opportunity. Everything's scaled for children, and then they can really engage with sustainability at this place.
So the question was, as you tried to implement these changes within your business, how did you deal with the pushback that you got from your customers?
Well, we didn't have pushback from customers, but some of the city employees were a little hesitant, and so we actually did a lot of competitions. We did challenges and really tried to focus on the departments that were doing well. And then, even within like the fire department, they got to the point, because I do diversion by every department, so we know our diversion rates by different departments, different buildings. And the fire department really, embraced it, and all the different fire departments were sort of out competing each other, and they got to the point where, they went beyond office recycling. And I had mentioned it earlier about the green cones, that now you'll see these, if you haven't seen them around town, there's some at City Hall, there's some at a lot of the parks. There's two at 215 North Mason. They look like construction cones, but they're actually food digesters that you put all your food in, and then around wherever you put it, around it's really nutrient rich. So it's a great way to dispose of your food waste, because if you bring it to the landfill, it produces methane. So if you do it this way and it gets exposed to oxygen, it's much less harmful. And so we just went and we just really concentrated on the more positive end of it. And then we have a great kudos board, and we give out great green presents too. And then I'll also try to encourage people all the time. So this is one of our Starve Your Trash. And basically at the city, if you walk around the city, people just have recycling in a little tiny trash can. And so it's messaging all the time, like this is part of our culture.
For us, as time went on, there was some financial rewards in some of the recycling we did. And so I just encourage staff members to recycle as much as they can, and then we can buy pizza and beer with what's left over. That works good.
We definitely did have pushback from our employees. As I mentioned, we required all of our employees to switch to green banking. We didn't give them an option. And we found that with banking, it's kind of a generational thing too. The younger people were not really opposed to it because they were already using email, and they don't really mind if they don't get a statement in the mail. They probably don't balance their checkbook anyway, so it's fine. But some of our older employees had definitely had some problems with it. So we just really tried. We did some giveaways like these guys and some rewards. We gave away water bottles and coffee cups and different things to encourage them to think environmentally. But at the same time, we found at some point, with all the education you give them and all the positive feedback and information about recycling, at some point we just also had to draw a line in the sand and just say, look, we're going to do this. There's going to be some outliers who are not going to accept it. So we just did it. And what we found is as they got used to it, it was okay. So sometimes we had to force that change a little bit. But usually, after using it for a few months, they really found it very user-friendly and it was fine. So.
I would just add that you can often get pushback, and we're kind of taking off the NCBR BizFit model and implementing a point system based on the honor system, where you can give yourself points if you carpool to a meeting, or you check out the iPad to take to a meeting to present something instead of printing a bunch of paper. Things like that to encourage that. But I would concur with you. You do have to draw a line in the sand, and might try beer and pizza one of these days.
And I would just add to that, all of that is, I think, really great. And one other thing is I think people just want to know how they contribute. And so they want to see that their contribution is making a difference. And so if you can provide reports and analysis and things that say, look, this is what we're doing, and this is how it's adding, and you are a part of that, it makes their objections subside a little bit.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other questions?
Okay, so she asked what I meant by a block of wind. So basically the utilities sells, for $10, you just buy a certain amount of kilowatt hours. So basically a family of 4 uses about 700 kilowatts in a month. And so for $10 above what your normal bill is, you pay that subsidy. And so then you could buy a block of 500 kilowatt hours. And so basically about 90% of your wind would be, your energy would be from wind, from, I think, Pontycune. And then for businesses, there's a similar program. So in the back, there's a lot of utilities people here. And so they have a table in the center. And so they could probably answer the question a little better. But and you can just do it for a couple months. You could try it. You could do it for a friend. Right. So you're basically buying wind power. So instead of, our wind all comes from Power River, coal. And so you are basically making a choice to say, I want to power my business or my home with wind.
And so, but really, what that is contributing to is a pot of money that goes to the development of the wind farms. And so you're not necessarily getting that direct, tie to wind, for example, but you're contributing to it. And so that ultimately one day maybe we only have power from wind. That's the idea.